Hello, friends. It's Steph from, well, now I can say from my PQ Coach Biz WhatsApp group and from my hypnotherapy marketing. Because guess what, today, a few friends of mine that I met during our current coaching program, Positive Intelligence, we created a WhatsApp group to help each other out with finding answers to pertinent marketing questions and business related questions. Currently, we're working on niches, and I thought it would be maybe a good idea to invite that crowd to my live streams as well. Because you hypnotherapists and now also coaches are tackling more or less the same problems, right? We're all busy with trying to find out who precisely we serve, how we serve them best, what type of services we should actually be offering. Is there a combination between services, several services and online courses, products? All these need to be defined, and the first step to actually do this is to clearly define our niche. Okay, so before I go deeper into how to define your niche, if you could please, if you can see and hear me fine, if you could just add a comment to wherever you are. You should be able to see me right now on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, of course, because this is a simul stream. So I use a tool called Restream to be simultaneously live in all those channels, something I may be very tempted to explain to you how to do that at some point in time, but just let me know whether or not you can actually hear and see me fine, just to make sure that that everything is fine. But I'm recording as well, so we should be covered if anything goes wrong anyway. So let's maybe dive in right there. How to define your niche. The thing is, before you actually define your niche, you should be asking yourself a few other questions, and you'll understand why I insist on these type of questions, because we as coaches and hypnotherapists are in the business of helping other people. So we are not simply selling bread, butter, and cars, right? We are dealing with human beings, and we are in this business because human beings and their well-being is dear to us. So that's why we are hypnotherapists, trying people to help overcome obstacles or solve issues. That's why we are coaches, guiding people towards better performance, live more happier lives, etc. So specifically to our type of business, our type of practice, I very much like to answer a few questions before actually go into the niche definition. And I'll share my screen now with you to show you what I mean with that. And then we'll have a little look as well at an animation that goes along with those questions. I'm sharing my screen. And you'll forgive me that I'm sharing my PowerPoint screen, not the way that I would normally share it, because I would normally go full screen, but I'm working here with 3 monitors, and for whatever reason, PowerPoint sends the presentation to a different monitor when I activate that feature. So, but that's not a problem. You see it anyway. It's big enough. So how to define your niche? This is actually the first set of questions that I invite people to ask themselves. And that's to identify first your true purpose, right? And because this looks a little bit complicated, I prepared a little video some time ago, actually, that I want to share with you now. And I suggest we go through this little animation, which is not very long. It's 1 minute, but I will start and stop from time to time so that you can actually understand where I'm going at with these questions. And those 4 critical questions, as you can see on the screen, are really important, I think, before you actually define your niche, because I think if we're in the business of helping other people, we really want to make sure that what we are doing for others serves us as well. I mean by that, doing something to help others is probably one of the most noble professions, but at the same time, if we do something that doesn't fulfill us fully, completely, in terms of our own personal purpose, then we might not be able to provide that service at the level that we would be able to if really the purpose question would be addressed. So I'm launching this video and I will stop from time to time. So the first question that you see here on screen is, what do I love? So, and you'll see progressively 4 questions appearing on screen. The first question, what do I love, is very important, because if you do something that you don't profoundly love, not in the terms of like something you fancy doing, but something that you're profoundly in with your entire heart and being, then chances are that you will not succeed in realizing a profession or a practice that really is fulfilling in terms of your own personal purpose. The second question, you see it already on screen, is what am I good at? So by asking yourself that question, actually what you'll cover is your skill level. I mean, most of us are in their 40s, 50s, sometimes 60s, 70s. We have achieved, or we arrived at a stage in our lives where we have quite some baggage, right? We have expertise developed over all these years that we really burning now to share with the world, and that's why we've become coaches, among others, or hypnotherapists, right? So, but at the same time, we really need to define, where is my specific skill set? And if something should be missing in that skill set, obviously we should be working on improving our skills, which is, I think, something that coaches, generally speaking, continue doing anyway. Good. Next question. The next question, what does the world need? Well, there's a little spelling there. What does the word need? Is in relationship to also not just think, I mean, for us, the coaches and hypnotherapists, that comes naturally, but not for everyone. And this is for anyone who would like to build a lifestyle business. So what does the word need touches upon the very important question in terms of, what do other people need? And not just people. I'm thinking, when I talk about this, or when I think about this, I'm thinking about it rather in a larger scale, in terms of, what does the planet need? I'm thinking about the environment. I'm thinking about the fauna, the flora. I'm thinking about us human beings as spiritual beings. I'm thinking in a much larger sense, not in a business perspective, but as a personal, on a personal level. What does the world need? That's an important question, I think, to ask ourselves if it comes to define our own personal purpose. Next question. It's an important question if we want to do something that sustains us and our lives. What can I be paid for, right? If we find something that we cannot be paid for according to what we need to make a respectful living, then we're in trouble, as easy as that. So this last 4th question touches upon us coaches and hypnotherapists being in that business to help other people, of course, but at the same time, we need to be paid for the services that we provide. And I believe it's a very important question, because especially for us coaches and hypnotherapists, very often we think, okay, but I can't really ask for money for what I'm doing. I'm helping people. They have issues. They have problems. They don't know what to do in that specific particular situation. So of course, we are naturally going towards human beings to help them as good as we can. Let me just quickly refresh a screen here, because I'm not sure that you can all see me, because I didn't get a message in my comment box. So let's just hope that everything is fine and we are really streaming live, because otherwise there would be a problem. No, I see it. Okay, perfect, good. So circling back, so it's something that I find coaches and hypnotherapists are having a big trouble with, asking for money and asking for the right amount of money as well. So that's why this question, I believe, is an important one to cover for us as well. Let me continue with this animation, and you'll see it becomes more complex and more interesting the more I advance, and that's why I wanted to slice it up to not overwhelm you right away. So now come the intersections between those 4 circles. The first circle let me finish the animation first. So there's passion, mission, profession, and then there's a vocation. And those 4 circles, if you have a look at them now, where what do I love intersects with what am I good at? What am I good at? We have what we could call a passion. We love what we're doing, we're passionate about it, but we're also good at it. So we really dive in deeply because we are really passionate about this thing. We are mastering it. We are at the top of that expertise and we love doing it. It's a passion. On the other hand, if we do something we really love and we know and we reach out to people because we know the world needs it, we have what we could define as a mission. Okay. And I just got a message here. Yes, you are up. Thank you for telling me that I'm actually not speaking just to the mic, but it's recorded anyway. So the replay should be visible and available on Facebook later on. So we have here what's called a mission between what do I love and what does the world need. Between what the world needs and what I can be paid for, we could call it a vocation, like a vocational profession in where we put our services to the humankind, and we are being paid for it. It's a vocation that we have, and we really love what we're doing here as well. What am I good at and can be paid for? Well, there's a few things missing, as always. There are other circles which are not covered by those. Here we have a profession. I'm good at something. Let's say I'm a plumber, or I am a taxi driver, or I am whatever profession that might be. When I can be paid for something that I'm good at, I have what's called a profession, right? And if we now look further, where those 4 circles intertwine, we have still 4 triangles now that are uncovered, and they are very interesting because they provide further answers to those very important 4 questions in terms of determining what we should be doing or should be going for when it comes to defining our purpose. So here we have the intersection between 3 circles except what the world needs. Okay, this is this triangle here. What happens here is we are feeling satisfied because we do something we love, we are good at it, and we are being paid for it. But at the same time, the world doesn't really need it. Okay, I could have a few examples, but I don't want to put too much time into explaining the entire circles because we've got more things to explain, and then we want to have a look at your own niche statements as well today. So there is the risk that you could feel useless if you have the impression that what you're doing is, regardless that you're loving it and you're good at it and you can be paid for it, the world doesn't really need for it. I count into that field often the production of items that are really like only for consumption, luxury articles, futile articles that are just lasting a day or two and then they're gone. It's just like to consume something that is of a very short-lived pleasure. That would be something I could see in that area. So you have the impression of doing something that, well, it's not really useful for the world. Okay, let's move up to the next intersection. And the next intersection coming up is the intersection between what do I love, what does the world need, and what can I be paid for? Between what am I good at, what do I love, and what does the world need? But you see, this circle is excluded. I cannot be paid for it, or people would be willing to pay a very low amount of money in regards to the service that I'm offering. So what happens here is now I'm enthusiastic and I feel fulfilled, but I don't generate wealth, right? In terms of generate wealth here, we could very easily replace this by you don't have a business. As simple as that. If you have something you really love doing, you are good at it, and it's something the world needs, but nobody's really willing to pay for it. I could, for example, put NGOs in there, which is not to say that that's not a worthwhile thing to do. In the contrary, I think it's very worthwhile. But when you do something like this, where people would not associate a certain level of payment to what you're doing, then what you're doing is very valuable to whomever you deliver that service to, but at the same time, you don't have a business, right? And as coaches and hypnotherapists, obviously, we want to build a business. We want to be able to live from what we're doing. And this would therefore that not be probably, hobbies, exactly. I just got the message. It's a hobby. Hobbies fall into this. Absolutely. And these are generally occupations that are done in the evenings or at leisure time on the weekends. So you understand the principle. Let's move on with those circles and let's move on to the intersection. I think it's profession. So in this instance, we are excluding, let me see, what are we excluding? We have what we are good at, what the world needs, and what we can be paid for. What a very important circle has been left out, right? It stops here. This is not covered by what do I love. Well, that's a dangerous place to be for coaches and for hypnotherapists, because very simply put, you are successful and because you're paid for it. You're doing something that's really good and the world needs it, but you don't love it. You're not in this with your heart. What's the purpose for you of doing something as a coach or a hypnotherapist if that's not something you profoundly love and aspire to, helping other people? I think we as coaches and hypnotherapists automatically are excluded from that segment here, because otherwise we wouldn't have chosen coaching or hypnotherapy in the first place. So, but still, there are people who are in this circle, and it's a dangerous place to be, because you can be. That's a place where you can very easily generate depression and unhappiness. Not a good place to be. Let's continue. The last circle here on our right. Here, I've got a message. Let me quickly read the message that I just got. Unfortunately, a lot of specialist therapy areas fall into this previous category. Many addicts or people who suffer real trauma must not have the money to exactly right. Yeah, that's true as well. So it's actually not just we really have to ask ourselves the question what we're doing before we're doing it, and you begin. I hope to understand. Why those 4 questions are so important. We'll continue right away with the animation, but just let me say this. If we don't ask those questions, those 4 questions to ourselves very honestly, and the problem is the honesty towards ourselves, to look in the mirror and to be very brutal with answering those questions. If we don't get them right, we risk investing not only our heart into something that we will abandon down the road, but we will also invest our entire money, the money that we need to build a business, and our entire effort into something that we will very likely abandon, right? And that's why why those 4 questions come before the niche statement. Imagine you define the niche statement where the love question was not correctly answered. And you go into something that you can build, and you will even, as you know now, you can be paid for it, you can be good at it, and the world needs it. But if you're not in it with your love, you will down the road probably abandon it. And that's a very dangerous place to be. So it's very important before your niche statement to ask yourself those 4 questions, in which case it doesn't mean that you necessarily will abandon your niche, but maybe you want to reformulate it. Maybe you want to think about it a little bit more, and maybe you want to refine what you're actually offering to whom. That's what the niche statement is about. But before doing that, those 4 questions are very important, I think. I have here a comment. Targeting the right niche that will pay well can also afford you the luxury of offering lower cost sessions to help those really in need. Well, I can't tell you how much I love to read this, because this comes from somebody who's in this with his heart or her heart, obviously, because that's what I think too. I have in what I'm doing right now, you will discover later down the road that I'm trying to help hypnotherapists and now maybe even coaches. I didn't think about it until even 3 or 4 weeks ago, how to build a business that will thrive and that they're happy doing what they're doing. And built in my business is a certain percentage of that money goes automatically into a bank account where I can provide sessions for free to other people that can't afford it, because some of the programs will not be that cheap. So it's a very good thing to do, to think it in that sense as well. Opening that door to people who can't afford your services just shows your real value in terms of where your heart really is. And I think it's very important. So thank you for that comment. Thank you for me being able to mention that, because it is definitely very important. Let's continue with the animation. Sharing my screen again and putting myself up there. Here we go. And lastly, of course, 4 intersections that we have there is the purpose question that is now covered by those 4 circles intersecting in the perfect center. And now what you have is what I call a purpose-driven lifestyle business, which makes you feel complete. And in California, they have coined a name for that. They call it flow, coming into flow. That's the space where you no longer consider anything you're doing as work. I think for most of us, that may be the case already. To be quite honest, for me, not yet, because I'm building everything out. I'm not there yet. Things are not flowing yet, but I am definitely in the flow in terms of everything I'm building out right now. Things are just like coming to me. Just yesterday, I was discussing with Andrea in the PQ Coach WhatsApp group, and also with Sandy, incredible conversations. And things just fall in place, and you know that feeling, I think, and that's what's meant with finding our purpose in the intersection of those 4 questions. What do I love? What am I good at? What does the world need? And what can I be paid for? Once you're in that spot, you're in a very comfortable spot. So once you've answered those questions, now let's go back to the presentation. Once you've answered those 4 questions, you should and must move on to the very important niche statement. And very quickly as a preamble, again, for those of you who are in the PQ coaching program right now, in the trainers program, Bill has mentioned it in his last Q&A last week. He was talking about the 5 Ps. No, he was talking about the 4 Ps. I usually talk about 5 Ps, and you will understand why. And it's so incredibly important to answer those questions, the 4 questions that I just presented before coming into the niche statement, because again, you may miss the mark. You may create something that you're good at and create a business that works, and down the road, oh my God, I will be unhappy. Now, there's one thing before I continue that I want you to be careful of. Finding your purpose, very important, this one. Finding your purpose is not a point that you achieve in a place and a time in your life. Your purpose is a path. It's not arriving at a destination. That means also, and that's the tricky thing, that also means that your purpose, the questions that you've answered, those 4 questions, they can and should evolve naturally. Why? Because you as a human being evolve. If you as a human being evolve, you have to grant yourself the possibility to evolve what you're doing. We do this naturally, obviously, have been doing it so far in our lives. But I just want to put that into our perspective, because a lot of people think, okay, now I've got my purpose and now I'm staying on that thing. I have arrived to my target. Our endpoint will never be reached, to be quite honest with you, because I don't know about your perspective of life, but mine is one of reincarnation. For me, it continues in this one and next life, etc., until I understood certain things, or the entire things that I have to still master until something else will happen. But anyway, don't be afraid to nail it down, to write your niche statement. Write it out. It's a first iteration. Polish it. When you're comfortable and it answers your 4 questions now, then you're good to go. But don't think that will be set in stone for the rest of your life. It may change. Okay, let me share my screen again. So, step 2, we now are coming to the 5 P's that are required to make your niche statement. The 5 P's are namely people. So people is who are the people? Well, first of all, 5 people. I should have done a screen with all the 5 all together. The 5. Let me quickly name them so that you understand where I'm going to. It's people, it's problem, promise, and then we have positioning and process. Now, I'll explain each of those steps. Basically, our niche statement identifies who we are going to serve, the people, what problem we are trying to solve, the second one, the problem, and what is the promise we are making to our people to remove that problem, to remove the pain point. That's basically where it comes from. And the other 2 P's at the end are not part of the niche statement per se, but they're very important to think over again as well in terms of defining our niche statement. I don't know who said this. I can listen to you all day, Steph Becker. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I don't see your names yet. If you're next time, if you sign up on I posted a link in the WhatsApp group. When you do that, I will also see your names, and even your images will show up wherever you are on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, or here on Facebook. So let me continue here. People. So who are the people that you most want to help? And you see how that fits in with the questions we were just asking ourselves? It comes back to, what do I love, right? Who are the people that I most want to help? What do I love? I love helping that type of people. But whom of those people can I actually help? And that touches on the other question we saw a little bit earlier among those 4. What am I good at? Our skill level. It's not enough that we want to help people. We also must be able to help them. And obviously that touches upon our skill level that we have. Most of us, all of us may very likely have an expertise in an area, but we shouldn't stay there. Realize what needs to be added to be as helpful as possible to our crowd and increase our skill level and our expertise. The next question after step 2, which is people, is problem. So what are your people struggling with right now? You define the people, so that's the niche, and that can be a niche in terms of entrepreneurs. It can be demographic, entrepreneurs from 40 to 60. It can be location-wise, all entrepreneurs in New York City, New York State, the US, Germany, whatever. And now we define the problem. And the problem, if you look closely again, it circles back to the question that we asked ourselves in the beginning. What does the world need, right? If we do something that doesn't hit its mark in terms of what people are struggling with right now, then we hit the mark in serving the people. We don't do what the world needs. And our world, as a coach or hypnotherapist, are the people we're supposed to serve, right? So the second element is to define very clearly the problem. Thirdly is the promise. We've defined the people. We've defined their problem, which can be defined as a pain point. And with pain point, I quite literally mean, like, imagine you are right next to somebody and you put a needle in the left arm. Sorry for the figurative speaking, but you put a needle where it really hurts. The only thing that person wants you to do right now when you do that is what? Remove the freaking needle from my arm. That's what we determine and define. What is the problem? We need to identify really that thing that hurts so much that those people, our niche, are ready to engage with us and to help them remove that needle, the pain point. And that's the promise we are making. So the promise that you see here on the screen, what result will they get when they work with us or with you? And again, now we cover the 4th question again. Look at this. What can I be paid for? What can I get paid for? Exactly. So this covers the very important question. Now the pain is so big and I defined the niche so clearly and the pain point has been explained with such a precision that those people are flocking to me. That's my That's the goal that we're really trying to achieve. And it's a difficult one, but it's a wordsmith problem, right? It's a wordsmith problem. Once you clearly defined your purpose with the four questions and you then write your niche statement, the remaining portion is to, like a wordsmith, finding the right words that touches them in such a way that they immediately recognize their pain. When you do that, you have their ear, then your name will be burned into their subconscious mind, and they will listen to what you have to say because you've identified their problem and you have offered a solution. That's what the niche statement is supposed to do. So let's continue though. There are two more things that we need to cover. That's steps 1 to 3 is our niche statement. You don't need anything more in your niche statement, but before writing the niche statement, there are two things that you want to look at as well. Here they are. Before writing your niche statement, you need to think about your positioning. So the P number 4, positioning. So what's the positioning? Positioning is how your offer is different from your competition, right? That's very important. Positioning is a real marketing concept. It has been coined in the 70s by Al Ries and Jack Trout, two marketing geniuses working for a big advertisement agency at that point in time. And they realized that, wait a minute, with all the wash powders and cars and lollipops and ice creams we are selling, we have a problem. The problem is the wash powder we are selling is white, and it does the same thing. It washes things clean. So the differentiating factor between washing powder 1, washing powder B, and washing powder C was negligent, non-existent. Few minor details, but I trust our subconscious mind has been conditioned to give that answer. But anyway, white powder, white powder, white powder. How do you sell white powder if you have a brand to sell? Well, that's how brand names were invented. They came before positioning. Brand names then try to differentiate themselves among each other by washes whiter, specifically for colors, bleaching elements, whatever. Okay, you get the message. So it was product related, the advantage that was put forward in the advertisement. At some point in time, they started to resemble each other again. So that's where Al Ries and Jack Trout invented positioning. Positioning is not what you do with your product or your service. Positioning is something what you do to the head of your consumer or your client. Positioning is the perception that you provide somebody so that he understands how your service is different from somebody else's service. To give you an example, life coaches or business coaches, whatever. There's not one single life coach who does the same thing, uses the same tools, the same expertise, and the same structure and methodology as another life coach, right? But that alone is not enough. You need to define it and to help people understand how you are different. That understanding and that differentiating factor needs to be installed into the head of your client. So in order for you to install that in the head of your client, it's got to be somewhere. It's normally a positioning statement, but you can also put it into your niche statement. I usually separate those two, niche and positioning, but I want you to at least think about it. If you define your statement and you have it written out, have a look around on websites, do a search on Google, and try to find out what their niche statement is, what their positioning is. And you will find that very easily in what's called the description tag of their web page homepages. I know it gets a little bit techy. I'm not going into detail to show you now how that is done. We can do it in the WhatsApp group or in the new group I will be creating very soon, next week, over the weekend probably, where I can, or doing a next live stream. If you want to go techie, we can do that as well. And I will explain to you how to find that. But it's very important that you differentiate yourself from the competition, because otherwise the question will come even if it's not formulated from your client. Oh, okay, life coaching. Wasn't that the same thing that Eric B did and Pamela S? So which one do you have to differentiate yourself? right? And positioning is really in the head of your customer. It is sometimes even an artificial fact. To give you an example, there's one lady called Sigrun. She's helping new business owners kickstart a business and with the means of live events. Her positioning is, first of all, she's only dealing with women, but her brand is everything is red. She's dressed in red. Her office is red. When she does a seminar, everything is clad in red. Positioning is very closely related to what she's doing, which is this red branding, which is omnipresent in everything she does. It's a little bit in between the two. I would say it's more like the branding portion of it, but she attaches a certain positioning to it that you get when you listen to her and when you see what she's doing. But I hope you get a little bit what I'm trying to explain. But I can go deep with positioning if you want me to. It's my master thesis at uni. So I know a little bit what I'm talking about when it comes to positioning. Let's move on to number 5, the last one. The process is how specifically are you going to deliver on the promise, right? Because there's several possibilities to deliver on your promise. Are you coaching backed up with an online course? Are you coaching one-on-ones? Are you coaching in groups? Do you have masterminds? Do you or only do you, or a certain high percentage, only one-on-one live encounters with somebody in your office? Like I know some coaches too. All these questions are very important to cover. Are very important to cover. And the process, most importantly, is what we are dealing or start to deal with in the PQ Coach WhatsApp group. And I want to bring it to the other group that I will create, the other platform that I will create, so that hypnotherapists and other people who help other people can join as well and understand that. It translates directly into how you do your marketing. Your marketing is absolutely tantamount. And I can tell you, 99% of you listening, unless you are a marketing genius already around listening, 99% of you will have the biggest difficulty defining how you reach your target audience. And with how, I mean the platform, the message, the media you're using, the positioning you are using, how you structure your service offerings, how they should appear on your website. What are the elements that you use to drive people to what's called landing pages, where you very specifically educate people around a specific type of service? There is a huge cloud. I have the impression that surrounds hypnotherapists and coaches when it comes to tackling questions related to how do I actually build my business. And it's not just building my business and my marketing, but how do I do it in such a way, I'm sorry, that it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg? And how can I do it in such a way that I don't lose 6 months or a year or even longer, in the worst case scenario, where I lose my time because I did something everybody was suggesting I should be doing, and then I realize nothing's happening. Or after 6 months, I still don't have a website. Because everybody told my Facebook pages are enough, which is one of the absolutely biggest, what word should I put behind there? Ludicrous argument I've ever heard. You absolutely must build your business around what you own. It cannot be a Facebook page. A Facebook page is the extension of what you do. And look what I'm doing. I have a website, obviously, but I'm talking to you on a Facebook page or in the Facebook group, depending where you are, or on YouTube or on Twitter, right? But my business all comes back to the website, right? And very importantly, to my email marketing list. That's where you own the voice. That's where you own the people that you are able to talk to. Never consider a Facebook page as your business. It's never going to happen. The day Facebook changes algorithm or changes its decision around business page, Facebook pages or groups, which has happened like 3 months ago, where the algorithm changed and Facebook page and group visits have changed dramatically. Well, people, guess what, lost their business. Anyway, just a little explanation to this point number 5, the process that you need to take into place, that you need to take into consideration of how specifically are you going to deliver on the promise. So there's your service offering, there's your product offering, but there's also your entire infrastructure when it comes to your marketing, obviously. So I'd like to do a little exercise now. We have now 40 minutes into this live stream. We have another 20 minutes to look at your niche statements. So if you are ready to rumble, and I hope you are, I invite you to write your niche statement or to post it into the chat so that we can have a look at it all together. And don't forget, you only need the first 3 P's, and I put them on the screen for you again very quickly. Only need to cover who specifically you are serving, what is their pain point, what's their problem, and what's your promise. What's the specific outcome that you offer to help people get rid of that pain point? Even if you're not very advanced in this, even if it's the first time you hear about niches, even if it's the first time you would be writing something like this, or if you have it already written out, don't be afraid. Put it into the chat window underneath to wherever you are, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or I should be able to see it. Hopefully it works. And I see that Andrea has added her name to the to Restream, so I can see your name, Sculptureware by Andrea Pope. So I invite other users to do that as well if you want me to be able to know who you are, but feel free to send them now. In the meantime, what I can do is I show you my own. Okay, so think about it. Keep those 3 things. If you have a piece of paper nearby, write them down. People, problem, promise. That's the first 3 P's that go into a niche statement. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is my own. For HypnoStaff, which is my website, and I can quickly show you how that actually looks like. Let me see if I can. No, let me first read you the statement, my niche. So what I'm saying for HypnoStaff is Steph Becker is a board-certified ART hypnotherapist, RTT hypnosis practitioner, and positive intelligence PQ life and business coach. He helps people overcome obstacles in life and become the best version of themselves. Okay, and if you write this, you will notice that I'm not very specific, right? But in the beginning, I told you to be very, very specific. Okay, here's why. When it comes to my homepage on hypnostaff.com, because as a hypnotherapist, I will deal with a lot of different issues, right? I will deal with anxiety, imposter syndrome, fear of public speaking. I will take into consideration people who have low self-esteem or lack of confidence. So that's a lot of different niches. That's not just one niche. My niche is not offering hypnotherapy. That would be too generic, right? But on my website, on my homepage, that's what I would say. I am certified in that area. I'm a hypnotherapist, and I help people overcome obstacles in life and become the best version of themselves. But when I'm drilling down, and here's again my niche statement, when I am drilling down to my landing pages, and if that's a notion that's not yet very familiar to you, you will come to learn about that when you follow my live streams, because as a marketer, and I've been at the helm of an agency for over 12 years now, landing pages are one of the most important things when you offer services because they can be laser targeted, and that's what we want for niches. Now have a look here at the specific landing page where I address public speaking. What I say there, my niche statement is, I'm sorry, Steph Becker uses ART hypnotherapy. I should be writing here. Steph Becker uses ART hypnotherapy to help online entrepreneurs overcome public speaking. Fear of public speaking, of course. Fear of public speaking. Uses ART, and here I would write hypno, but now it goes overboard, unfortunately. Let me dial this down. 1 second. My phone is not being nice to me. So you may ask yourself, okay, now I've got this generic niche statement and this specific niche statement, but how would that actually look like in real life? Well, fortunately for us, I have done this already and I can show it to you. Let me hope. No, what is going on? And you will excuse me for a second. I will push this nice button called power off, and that's it. So, oops, that's not the right side. This is for, by the way, if you want to sign up and receive regular alerts about these live streams, I do them weekly, by the way, for the last 2 months or so. Sign up, please, here, then you will receive an alert. But this is what I wanted to show you. This is my hypnotherapy homepage, right? So it says very simply, get back on track with staff, what I am. I'm the board certified RT hypnotherapist. So this is generic, okay? I'm not talking about generic stuff. But look at this. Here's what I help with, okay? I've got a whole list of things, and I probably won't leave it as large as it is right now. I will probably reduce that list. But it's just been a few months that I've been doing this, 6 months or so. So I will review, but you see already that those who have blue links to specific landing pages are the ones that really are dear to my heart: self-esteem, public speaking, procrastination, imposter syndrome. So this is the homepage of my website, which has been built with a landing page builder. I don't use a website CMS such as WordPress or Wix or something like that. I'm going straight with a landing page builder because building pages or websites like this is like super fast, and they have several other advantages that we can go into at some point in time. So this was the generic one. You remember my generic niche statement. Here is a specific one. I'm going to, let's say, public speaking, because we had that as an example. Now, look at this landing page. This landing page is geared to exactly and specifically only one thing, and that's how to overcome the fear of public speaking, right? And you see here a lady on the stage, and I say, get rid of your fear of speaking in public in as little as 21 days. 21 days is the time that science has established now that it takes to change habits and wrong beliefs or unhelpful beliefs. So it doesn't mean that in 21 days I have helped somebody overcome completely public speaking. But if in 20 days they did what I tell them to do, because there are recordings to listen to, and obviously there is my regression hypnotherapy where we go to find the problem that is what's related to the problem of fear of public speaking. But now everything on this page only talks about public speaking. Look at this. The entire niche statement for public speaking is expressed in the content, and we call this content marketing, is geared towards fear of public speaking. Everything, every single word is fear of public speaking, right? So you understand now what I mean with when you are a hypnotherapist like I am, and you have the possibility to address several issues. You have one generic one, then you can have as much and as many different ones than you have services to offer. This is for smoking, stop smoking. So every page now has been designed to address one specific niche, the smoking niche, people who want to stop smoking. So it's not that you define just one niche and that's been done for it. It depends on what you're offering. If you're a coach and you're offering life coaching for people who have problems with performance, motivation, or what have you, but at the same time you have a son who has ADHD, and you can help with your coaching ADHD people like I do. My son has ADHD. Then by all means, you shouldn't put all that on one page. Oh my God, never. It can be addressed on your homepage, but you need specific landing pages for each of those niches, because you need to be laser focused so that people come, when they come to that page from a Google ad, a Facebook ad, a Twitter ad, whatever, social media, they need to understand that you know what you're talking about and you know how to solve that problem. Okay? This cannot be done on one page where you explain all your services. You need that page too. It's called a portfolio page, or we call it a home page. And but you need those niche specific pages as well. I hope I was able to explain to you a little further in detail where we're coming from, why the niche statement is important, the fact that yes, there can sometimes be several niche statements. So don't be afraid that right now you're just working on one. That's your generic coach business niche statement. Down the road, you may need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on the specific services you're offering. And that's fine. That's how it has to be in terms of marketing, right? In terms of niching and in targeting as well. And when I'm saying targeting, just to give you another example of the importance of that, let me switch back to my page here. The other day, a lady in our group, in our WhatsApp group, if you remember, she was talking about regenerative leadership, right? When I hear a keyword, it's a definition that I have as a digital marketer. I take to my tools in digital marketing and I go to look up, is regenerative leadership a term that's coined, comes up on Google, etc., etc. And then I looked it up on Google. It comes up, and I was looking at the search volumes. They're not very high. So it says here 100 because that's the minimum it can go, this tool. But they are referenced. Regenerative leadership is referenced. So this for me is an indicator that there's a niche that I can market to. Let me say that again. When I define define a niche, I also look at keywords that people would use on Google to find me, right? So you saw my landing page a little bit earlier as a hypnotherapist. If I'm looking to target a niche that needs to stop smoking because their doctor told them, hey, guess what? You absolutely need to stop smoking or you're done in a year. I mean, horrible. But how do they find me? Well, they go on Google and step solutions to stop smoking. They're on the top of the funnel. Maybe they're a little bit further down the funnel already and they know exactly what they want. Oh, I understood that. I heard that hypnotherapy is really, really effective to stop smoking. He's looking on Google, hypnotherapist to stop smoking. He's further down the funnel, bottom of funnel. But now I can target all those keywords. I find very quickly and easily my niche to sell my services. So I take keywords into account also. Don't get wrapped up with your niche statement that if there are no keywords in there, but think about keywords as well. Look at the entire sphere of your competence and of the niche statement that you do, and do a little bit of a research on the internet to see if that's actually something that people are looking for in terms of a service, because otherwise you will have a hard time to connect the two, your service offerings and the people that are looking to solve a problem. If the problem hasn't got a name, you have a difficulty, right? That's why I wanted to mention this very quickly and show you what a marketer does when he hears a niche statement. I was immediately pulling over and was looking up Google to find my answers for the lady who was asking that question in our WhatsApp group. Let me go back to my presentation. So I'm going to the next screen. And I have a different one, my lifestyle business, which is a completely different business. This is where I help actually hypnotherapists and coaches down the road. This is something I will be offering next month for hypnotherapists. By the way, I'm not ready for coaches yet. If that's something I will offer, I'm not sure yet, but it looks more and more that coaches have the same need to build their business with a done-for-you solution. But have a look, my lifestyle business, what I say there. It's my lifestyle business helps wait a minute, I don't have it on screen. Here it is on screen. So for my lifestyle business, which is the company that and the website that I built specifically to help hypnotherapists and coaches down the road, as I just mentioned, launch done-for-you websites, landing pages, and marketing funnels to scale up to a 6-figure lifestyle business. So, and I call it a lifestyle business because, well, guess what? I want to be incredibly happy with my business, and I want this to become my lifestyle from A to Z. I want to put my purpose into this, and I name this a lifestyle business. It's not just a business, it's something I really love doing. And you see, it's a completely different statement in comparison to what we had a little bit earlier. But the two match. Do you see how with everything I'm doing now, how I, moving forward, combine everything in such a way that it always hits the sweet spot of what I really like doing, which is to work with people who help other people. That's my crowd. That's the people I want to serve, right? And I'm serving them as a hypnotherapist one-on-one with a client, and down the road as a coach one-on-one with a client, because that's what I like. That's what I'd like to do moving forward. But at the same time, because I'm a digital marketer and I have a digital agency with clients that I serve, which are in areas that are not necessarily related to my purpose and to what I love doing. I have like construction companies, I have moving companies, I have recycling companies, I have a foot doctor, I have a dentist. You see what I mean? I'm dealing with, as an agency, with everything. So, but what I want to do moving forward is to dial down the agency business and to offer my services to those that I feel most connected to. Basically, what I'm trying to do is to build a business where I can X10 or X20 businesses like yours, like hypnotherapists, coaches, because that's my expertise. I know digital marketing, right? But at the same time, I wanted to live the life of a hypnotherapist. I wanted to live the life of a coach. Because I think that I can only serve best my crowd if I am part of the crowd. So I need to go through the entire pains myself. And that's why, there's a parenthesis, I became a hypnotherapist as well. And I'm about to develop an expertise in coaching to be able to serve as much as I can my crowd. So that being said, now there have been no statements in my comment section. So either you're afraid to show it and share it with the world, or you're not ready yet, or I don't know what. But anyway, when this is over, please do feel free to post them in the comment section to wherever you look at this. Ideally on Facebook, by the way, because after the live stream, I will not be alerted by the comments on YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. But on Facebook, yes, the Facebook page is My Lifestyle Business, a page. I should have it here actually to show you. Yeah, here it is. So it is facebook.com/lifestyle.business with Steph. If you just type Lifestyle Business with Steph, you should actually be able to find it. I think that the search engine on Facebook will allow you to do that. So that's about it for today. Let me just quickly cycle back to my presentation to make sure I didn't forget anything. Oh, that's a different presentation that was in there. That I built this one up there. It was for hypnotherapists, just in case you're interested. If you're doing a one-on-one with clients, you're talking to them. For coaches, that's very applicable too. This entire presentation, entire live stream I did about how to conduct a discovery call when people interested in hypnotherapy are going into a discovery call because they want to know more about you and your services. This is the 6th point. You should always use, obviously, your client's most favorite word. And what is that? It is their first name. Always use your client's first name when you talk on a discovery call. They love hearing it. And any yes, as you know, in a discovery call, any yes and any positive thing that they perceive in their subconscious mind brings you closer to working with a client. Okay, that's it for today. I thank you so much for watching. Please comment, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to these live streams. I posted this link to the Facebook group. And I wish you a beautiful day, and I talk to you next week. Have a nice one.